we say AI helps you in personalization, what exactly does it do? What exactly is personalization? And how does these platforms and how does AI help with personalization? What is the mode of communication between the AI as such and the AI functionality as such and the platform? And how do they know what you need, what you resonate with, and how this whole thing works in the back end, right? It is easy to understand that when I say that it is easy, that Amazon kind of understands what you need based upon what you have bought, and then it kind of adjusts the recommendations so that you can go ahead and engage and buy heavily and make Amazon rich. While we also need to understand what happens in the back end. How does this whole personalization thing work? All we know at this point in time is AI helps in personalization. But how? How does it know what drives this personalization? And how does it even know where to start and things like that, right? So the example that we're talking about is none other than the Netflix example, which we go ahead and rely heavily on a daily basis, if not on a weekly basis. And this is exactly what I am trying to demonstrate here. I hope you're able to see the screen. Now, if you look at what is there on to the left hand side of the illustration, you have Netflix, which is indicated as N. You have user 1, which is U1, user 2 as U2, user 3 as U3, U4, U5, so on. And content, the pieces of content that Netflix goes ahead and suggests you, is labeled as C. Now, let's look at what happens on the right hand side of the illustration. Let's start with this, right? Now, if you look at this, which is N, which is Netflix here, and Netflix first, let's say, starts recommending users who has signed up with Netflix some action movies. Now, what the user does is the user engages with signing up, or with he shows and interacts with these engagement. I mean, he engages with the action movie suggestions that Netflix has thrown at him or her. Now, he watches these action movies. So next, what happens is it also suggests some romantic comedies. Now, he ignores these email notifications, he or she. Now, what does these email notifications mean? So we need to understand for a second that these email notifications could mean Netflix send you email suggestions, number one. Netflix could also send you push notifications. It says, let's say, the newest romantic comedy of the year is, enjoy this romantic comedy this Christmas, and you kind of ignore with that push notification. Ignoring it does not mean that you don't even open it. You just open it, and then there's nothing pretty much happens after that. Understand this platform belongs to Netflix, and all the actions that you take on the platform can be tracked by Netflix. These could be using tools like Microsoft Clarity to understand how you go ahead and engage with the content on the website or the web page that is shown, and and there are app analytics platforms that goes and tells you how do you interact with the app. Did you interact with a push notification? Did you click on it? Did you go to that listing? Did you play the trailer? Or did you just ignore it, right? So what happens is, let us say it is you who is interacting with Netflix. Netflix suggests romantic comedies to you and you kind of ignore it, right? Then it offers kids programming. Then you engage heavily with kids shows, or one of your children may have engaged with it. And then you send documentary suggestions, and then you watch these documentaries. When you watch documentaries, you just don't stop there. You love it so much and you resonate with this documentary so much that you actually went ahead and left a review or a rating, right? Now, then it starts promoting new sci-fi series for you. And then you also add sci-fi to your watch list, but you haven't watched them, right? Now, these are the set of activities that happened over a series of days, weeks, months, or years. Now, let us look at these effects of what your engagement tells Netflix and how Netflix tailors very smartly its suggestions to you so that you go ahead and engage more, and how Netflix has actually understood your behavior behind the screen. Now, when it sends you action movies and you watch these action movies, it tailors more action content to you and sends them your way. Now, it could be that you just open the app and then when you scroll the Netflix app, either on your TVs or either on your phone or your tablets, it starts showing more recommendations for content movies. How did it do that? It does that because it has data about you having watched these action movies when it first recommended you. Then you go ahead and start watching, you ignored the romantic comedies, right? When you ignored the romantic comedies, it knows that it doesn't have any luck with you when it comes to romantic comedies. Maybe you suck at romance, or maybe you had enough romance in your life, and it stops sending you those romantic movie notifications, rom-com suggestions, because you basically did not resonate with it, right? Then what it does is it goes ahead and adjusts recommendations to include dramas. Because you did not like romantic comedies, it doesn't stop there. It could have stopped there. But what it does is it goes ahead and tweaks your recommendations and sends you some dramas, right? And then you have engaged with kids program very heavily, right? It personalizes kids content further and sends more of them your way. And you also resonated very, very well when you speak about documentaries, because you also given a rating, right? Which means you are the kind of person who involves in watching these documentaries, and you're also bothered about the quality of these documentaries that you watch. It goes ahead and curates more documentaries based on ratings, not just the genre that you have interacted with. This is the key difference to understand when we speak about the levels of personalization. We are not talking about the kind of content that Netflix is going ahead and personalizing. We are also speaking about how deep can it go to personalize things for you. When you went ahead and watched and engaged a kids show, it sends more kids recommendations. That's all. But when you go ahead and put a rating or give a review or a rating to a documentary that you have watched, it knows that you're up for some serious business here when it comes to documentaries. So what it does is it not just sends you more documentaries your way, it also sends you documentaries that have ranked higher. That is very, very, very important to understand. If you have understood nothing from this session, I'm completely okay. But understand this personalization is not about sending recommendations your way, but tweaking, going deep into how your behavior could be applied and made more beneficial for Netflix and for you, because you don't have to struggle looking for ratings after that, right? Now, then it goes ahead and understands that you added sci fi movies to the watch list, but you did not watch them. It keeps sending you reminders with bonus content because you have added them to the watch list, which means that you're not ready to spend hours watching sci-fi movies yet, but you have added to the watch list. That tells Netflix something about you, right? So what it does is it goes ahead and sends you more tweaks and more suggested sci-fis because you added them to the watch list, but you have not watched it yet. So it understands that this guy may be a potential watcher or a viewer when it comes to sci-fi series, and it starts sending you with additional bonus content. Maybe something on the lines of a combination of a sci-fi and a documentary kind of style. So this is how Netflix goes ahead and personalizes things. This is a very, very, very surface level understanding, but personalization could go so deep that you engage with travel movies and you also look at travel movies which revolve around, let's say, partying, and then it also looks at factors in terms of whether do you look at uh, what kind of destinations do you interact with? Are you looking at Asian countries? Are you looking at European countries when you speak about parties? And it can go ahead and personalize things to that level. And there is no limit to personalization if you capture the right amounts of data and if you capture the right behaviors that users exhibit. This is about how Netflix can go ahead and personalize. Now, what you need to understand is this is not just about you as a person, right? We're speaking about 5 users here. So user one likes action movies, so it sends him that. User two could be your wife. So it suggested recommend rom-com movies to your wife, and she did not resonate with it. So it just stops and it starts sending drama notifications to the second user. The third user could be your son, watches or daughter, watches kids program, and he engages heavily with them. So it goes ahead and personalizes kids further for that user. Now, when we're talking about four, your brother, who is an avid documentary watcher, and then he loves these documentaries and he's serious about them, he goes ahead and leaves a review. So to him, it suggests more documentaries, it curates them based upon the ratings and then gives him suggestions. Your mother, on the other hand, is new to Netflix, doesn't know what to watch, and then she maybe found something fascinating about a sci-fi movie, so she adds it to the list, but she never watches it. So it goes ahead and starts sending reminders to her, which is the user number 5, and starts sending reminders with additional content which may have resonated with her in the past. This, ladies and gentlemen, if all 5 of you are sitting in a room and open Netflix on all your devices, each person's Netflix account homepage would look different because your viewing patterns are different, the genres that you like are different, the behaviors are different. You basically are different people, and it is one platform, one service provider who is catering to 5 users in this case and giving you 5 different suggestions which are very personal to you. The beauty is this is happening to billions of users on Netflix at scale at any given time. This is how AI is transforming personalization over the next few videos, we will also be looking at the techniques that Netflix and other companies use to go ahead and personalize things to this extent. That's about it in this session. I hope you had a Netflix heavy session this weekend. And if you like what you see, you know what to do. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for more. My name is Casey. Ciao.